Okay, we are ready. This is going to be, I don't think it's going to be that long, but it could go longer than longer than expected. Those of you that don't know, there is a certain person named Patrick Little who ran for senator against Dianne Feinstein over in California. And I think he got like some sort of result. I'll pull it up soon. That was like just pathetic. And he ran basically his whole platform. Well, you'll see his platform. But he lost in the most pathetic fashion ever. I mean, expectedly. Nobody. I don't even know if Patrick Little expected himself to do it. And what we kind of, we've seen him on certain channels where he purports to be the only person telling the whole truth and whatever. And the fact of the matter is that he's basically a child, and you'll see why. So this is Patrick Little calling in to the show, or YouTube hangouting into the Red Eye. Now the Red Eye, for those of you that don't know, there's another YouTuber named Maddodge Productions who I happen to be friends with. Who's a nice guy. And he runs this live stream. I think most of what he does is live streams. I don't know if he does any produced videos or any specific content videos. And sometimes his live streams can get a little chaotic and long. Like specifically, there are people who will just go on and on and on and on about stuff. But that's the whole point. That's kind of why I think he does it. He's also, I think he also goes by the Mad Libertarian. He's a friend of my channel too, a friend of mine. So the point is, now no offense to him, but if you're somebody who first of all was a credible candidate for Senate, if you're also somebody who now is saying that you're going to be running for president, your target audience isn't a show like Maddodge's Red Eye stream, which it doesn't have a huge audience. It is a fun stream to be on. That's what I think is great about it. You get into all sorts of hilarious topics, and we discussed this yesterday on his next Red Eye stream. So I like the channel. I'm just saying, if you're a serious candidate for president or whatever, this isn't exactly the show that you would go on to share your views, because it's just a bunch of people bullshitting with each other and talking, smack about politics and stuff like that. I guess technically that's what a politician does, but it seems that even this isn't low enough of a level for Patrick Little to wrap his head around. So without further ado, this is close to where it starts, and there's no setting up the scene. I don't know how they got him on. Maddodge just said that he demanded to be on the show or something, but here goes.
That can defend him is him, So, well, I see it as that. I'm neither. Like, I watch everything. I'm usually neither for nor against. But whenever it comes to certain organizations, then yes, then...
I think that's me again. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to bring up the primary results. I think I'll kick back in just a second. If not, we might have to reload. So it keeps taking me back to the same spot.
Hollywood.
Sorry about
the
that.
Candidate stop in Missoula.
But whenever it comes to certain organizations, then yes, then you...
Damn it. Still buffering. What the fuck? We'll wait for it. We'll wait it out. Now, this is, believe me, it's worth it. Guess we'll have to reload again. This piece of shit internet. So, rewind back to this point.
Hello, sir. Welcome. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, you're very welcome. Sorry about that. I was naming the Jew as part of a candidate stop in Missoula, Montana.
So he right away says, I was at a candidate stop naming the Jew. And that's his entire thing. The guy's entire platform is naming the Jew, which is, you know, I guess he thinks it's a catchy slogan. And, you know, we'll see how catchy it gets after he earned, you know, the pathetic number of votes he did in California, which we'll get into. But, I mean, let's just keep watching him and how he reacts to them. I'm going to try to interrupt as little as possible from now on.
How did that go?
Pretty well. We're uploading the video right now. We're taking a few days off from live streaming in IRL until my cameraman's concussions are a little bit more recovered from him. If he gets hit in the head again now, he could die.
Well, maybe you should buy him a helmet? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
We're not going out there rolling like short bus crew.
Fair enough. No, I haven't heard much about you really. What is your platform as you're running?
I named the Jew.
You named the Jew?
Elaborate. What do you mean by that?
I talk about Jewish supremacist control of this country and all of our key culture-making institutions.
So you're talking about the Federal Reserve and stuff like that?
Federal Reserve, APAC, control of our educational institutions, cultural Marxism, Holocaust indoctrination in the schools, you name it, everything. All things cultural in there, Hollywood, television, just pretty much everything that shapes public opinion, including the news.
Okay, well, I could agree with you on the mainstream media being full of shit. I totally agree with that.
So Maddodge was talking yesterday. You know, I'm just going to clarify this. Maddodge was talking yesterday. He was trying to lob him a few softballs to get him to, I mean, because all he keeps going back to, like he wanted him to talk about the Federal Reserve. He wanted him to talk about why he thinks, you know, for example, the Jews control the Federal Reserve or whatever. And he completely, he goes and ignores the whole issue of the Federal Reserve, which I think is a major issue. Okay, it doesn't matter what you think. You know, I obviously happen to think that Patrick Little's full of crap. But Federal Reserve, important question. The guy just moseys off into completely unrelated things.
But the Holocaust, I have a little issue there. Elaborate.
We don't have to agree on everything. Now, can you name to me a single major news station that is not controlled by Jews? Go ahead.
Off the top of my head, no, I don't know who these people exactly are and what their lineage is.
I hope we're not trying to take too much off the top of your head with this, because there isn't one. You can sit there scratching it all day, you'll be down to your neck.
Okay, fair enough. What exactly does their heritage really mean towards their control of these companies? What is the problem with that?
They are explicitly anti-white. Now, the problem with the Jews is their hatred of other peoples, including Europeans and Assyrians and Palestinians, you name it. Jews are the most hateful people on the planet and the most destructive historically. So we're going to talk about Jewish heritage and the genocidal nature they have against whites. Now, the average Jew is extremely anti-white. According to one statistic, almost all Jews support affirmative action. Now, that's when it was phrased neutral. Do you support affirmative action? According to the same study, when the wording was changed to ask Jews if they supported affirmative action, whereby whites are hurt and displaced, the percentage of Jews supporting affirmative action jumped by 10 points. So when the question was phrased in a way where it was explicitly hurting whites, the percentage of Jewish support increased. Jews are malicious and evil. They are the most.
Okay, hopefully he's still there. It looks like he froze a little bit.
Okay,
You're saying that they're
No, I heard him.
You're saying that they're evil, manipulative and evil.
Yeah. Do you agree that the genocide they're committing against the Christian Palestinians is not evil? Do you agree that that's evil? Are you saying?
Yeah, he goes and he leads with, to that question, the Christian Palestinians. I believe Palestinians are only like less than 7%. Well, I'll look it up real quick since we're at a pregnant pause. Just go about your business there. So we'll look up. I'll drag that in. So it says here they number 6 to 7% of the 12 million Palestinians. Let me see if I can get a source on that. Okay, so I don't want World Factbook. So this is the imeu.org, which I think is a pro-Palestinian organization, and it says that there are only 200,000 Palestinian Christians in the Holy Land, descendants of some of the oldest Christian communities in the world. Okay, and I think that as much is a truth. Now, it does go on to talk about attacks against Christians and their holy sites by Israeli settlers and extremists. But let's see here. The majority of these are from, the year 2012, to be honest with you. So this isn't something that's been ongoing to the extent that people are, that this is happening on a daily basis. Okay, all of these things are happening in 2012. I don't know what the cause was, or 2011. So this is not a genocide. There is definitely vandalism, as well as, it says in recent years, settlers have begun so-called price tag attacks against Palestinians in response to Israeli government actions that displease them, such as the dismantling of settlement outposts. So this is in response to the Israeli government dismantling parts of the West Bank settlements, because they don't want these settlers to continue to occupy hills over in the West Bank. Okay, I'm just using the word occupy, not with a charged. I'm just saying they don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't want the settlers to take any more land in the West Bank. Okay. Often such attacks take the form of vandalism and desecration of Muslim and Christian holy sites, including a string of arson attacks against mosques in the West Bank and Israel. Now, the fact of the matter is that, they're talking mostly about mosques. In December 2012, Jewish extremists vandalized the Greek Orthodox Monastery of the Cross in Jerusalem for the second time, painting "Death to Christianity, Jesus, son of a whore," and price tag on its walls, and slashing tires on cars in its parking lot. Now, I want to be clear here. I don't approve of that. I obviously think these people should be thrown in prison because, of course, it's blatant harassment. Doesn't matter what belief system you subscribe to. That's not evidence of a genocide. So, and again, the Palestinian Christians make up, it says, roughly 2% of the population of the West Bank, while Gaza's estimated 3,000 Christians account for less than 1% of the coastal enclave's population. So it has nothing to do with Christianity. According to Israeli government figures, as of 2009, there were about 150,000 Christian citizens of Israel, or about 2.1% of the population. Of those, approximately 80% are Palestinian Arabs, including 44,000 Roman Catholics, while the rest are non-Arab immigrants, mostly spouses of Jews who came from the Soviet Union in the early 1990s. So Patrick Little is basically making up stuff from nothing. The majority of the Palestinians who are dying in whatever is going on there, whether you want to call it a massacre, I would call it basically just a conflict, an armed conflict, I would call it. It's not a genocide against Christians. The majority of those people dying are Muslims. They have nothing to do with Christianity. On the contrary, they don't particularly like Christianity as a religion. But let's keep going.
I don't think that the Christian Palestinians are the Christian Palestinians are no more or no less. You don't have the Palestinians. When you talk about the Palestinians, right? And you're talking
All right.
about a genocide on the Palestinians, right?
Genocide
The
against
vast
Palestinians.
majority of the Palestinians, all right, that are part of the Muslim movement or Hamas followers, all right, they're not Jewish, and they're just as
So this is MC, one of the Red Eyes panelists, and I think he meant to say that they're mostly Muslim and they're not Christian. But you know, maybe he didn't mean to say that. You know, maybe he did mean to say Jewish. But in either case, you know, the majority of Palestinians do not believe in Christianity. The Fatah movement is nominally secular, but a lot of the rhetoric that they use is Islamic. Okay, I'm not going to say that they're an Islamic movement, but they do use a lot of Islamic imagery, a lot of Islamic metaphors in their in their literature. Okay, so what they'll distribute often makes references to the Quran and to various Islamic sources about the need to banish the infidel from the Holy Land, stuff like that. The Hamas movement is explicitly Islamist. Nothing to do with Christianity.
susceptible. They're just as susceptible to getting killed, all right, as a Jew. So where are you?
Everyone is
basing that on?
Everyone is as susceptible to bullets as anyone else. My point is that the Jews are committing a genocide in Palestine against Palestinians. My point is that Jews are sponsoring...
How do you say that they're committing a genocide when what they're doing is just responding to attacks?
Responding to attacks? Are you insane? They took all the Palestinian land, and when the Palestinians try and go back
They
to
took all the Palestinian land?
It's simple. They shoot Palestinian women in the womb wearing shirts that say in Hebrew, 1 shot, 2 kills, with a picture of a pregnant Arab woman.
You're saying that they're just going out there just massacring these people on mass, which isn't happening
anywhere near their home.
Hamas is sending
You've got people.
So it gets chaotic here. So this was, let me see here. Okay, so we'll use this one from let me see here, this guy. So yeah, there were people that this, for example, it says smaller and harder. Like the shot is harder with a picture of a kid, but the kid has a rifle on it because there are child soldiers that fight on the Palestinian side. Okay, if you want to call them soldiers, I don't know if you can call a child soldier anymore. When I was growing up, we kind of looked upon the idea of a child soldier as a war crime in and of itself. Let me see here. I need another. There was another one I saw from CBS News. I don't know if I want to use that one, but we might as well. So this was from 2009. We'll use the BBC one. I just don't like CBS. So it says this is the sniper platoon. It says 1 shot, 2 kills. Okay, Israeli officials have described as tasteless and inconsistent with army values a popular military pastime of printing violent cartoons on T-shirts. An investigation in Haaretz Daily says the customized shirts are often ordered when troops finish training courses, which is true. I don't think we ordered it when I was in the service, but we weren't exactly the unit of people who wanted to be in that unit. One example shows a pregnant Arab woman in the cross. It's the BBC, and they use the wrong women. They use women instead of woman. It should be singular woman. In the crosshairs of a sniper's sight with the legend, one shot, 2 kills. Another design shows a child being similarly targeted with the slogan, the smaller they are, the harder it is. In both images, the people being targeted appear to be carrying weapons. So the implication, now I would say that it's still a bad message. It does violate the values of the IDF as stated. Okay, you can debate whether they actually hold to those values, but these people were disciplined. A third T-shirt design shows a dead Palestinian baby and the words "better use Durex" or condoms. And an army statement said the customized clothing was produced outside military auspices, but it pledged to stamp out the use of such imagery by soldiers. So these are shirts that are bought by soldiers. they're not issued by the Israeli army. Okay, because look at that. Does that look like a professionally made T-shirt? I don't know if we can. Let me see here. Let me enlarge. So there you go. It's not exactly it's not exactly American Eagle quality. Callous attitude. The Israeli military has faced heavy criticism for causing high levels of civilian casualties during its recent Gaza offensive. The army frequently says it takes care to avoid civilian casualties and blames Palestinian militants for putting them in harm's way. So this was an Israeli newspaper that exposed this. This was an Israeli army that disciplined the people. And they said that, let me see what they said. And they said that they would stamp out the use of it. Now, I don't know if anybody was thrown into the brink for it, but this is the incident that Patrick Little is talking about, and he's conflating it with a general policy of the Israeli army. And I'll remind you guys, okay, this was, and I actually talked about this like a couple months ago. This was from Australia. There was an Australian army unit that used the Nazi flag for I think like a couple days on a patrol. So is that the official policy of the Australian army? I wonder why he's never mentioned that incident. Well, it's just as much of a it's about the same importance. It's about the same. In fact, it's from a similar period. This one is from 2007. That one is from 2009. And yet nobody would claim that Australia is committing a Nazi genocide in Palestine. I actually sent this to Halsey, who let me you know what, I'll share the stream with him because I want to hear his opinion on it. But yeah, I'll see if he I'll see if he wants to respond to it. I'll send him this video when it's done. In any case, so there's already two things that he says that are basically complete nonsense. Okay, the first of which was that it's Palestinian Christians who are getting massacred. Now, there probably are some Palestinian Christians who during the violence get killed. But the vast majority of people getting killed on either side, and the majority of the casualties are on the Palestinian side, are not Christian. They would either be Jewish or Muslim. The second thing he does is he conflates a story of a small unit of the Israeli army that bought shirts of their own volition with these offensive captions on it and images, and he takes that to be Israeli army policy. It's a very easy mistake to avoid if you actually read the fucking story.
Wait a minute.
All right, go ahead.
MC, let me take some order here. Let's go one by one. I want to be respectful and let everybody have their question and answer. So, Patrick, will you please continue, and then MC respond, and then Sherardy, it's your turn.
You got to speak up just a little bit there. I am driving through mountains here.
Oh, go ahead and finish your point, sir. And then MC will finish his, and Sherardy will have the next question.
I'm asking him to speak up just a little bit or turn up the gain on his mic. I can barely hear him.
Is this better?
That's pretty good, yeah.
Okay. You're saying that there's mass killings of the Palestinians, but that isn't taking place. If there was mass killings of the Palestinians, they'd be freaking dead already.
Have you heard of
and you're saying that they're doing it to Palestinian Christians when in reality, all right, any of the attacks are a response.
When Palestinians were during Nakba Day were trying to march back to their homes that they were born at, and when the Israeli snipers,
it doesn't matter when.
So he says the homes that they were born at, but those people were not. Let me explain how easy of a mistake that is. Nakba Day is a day that coincides with Israeli Independence Day, or at least the the international date of it. The Gregorian calendar date. So May 15th is Israeli Independence Day. There's a different date in the Hebrew calendar. Nakba Day coincides with that. I think that there's also a Muslim day for Nakba Day in the Muslim calendar. I might be wrong. But in any case, the issue with Nakba Day is that it's the day when all of the Palestinians who are descended from refugees from the 1948 war, they highlight the fact that they want to take back the entire land of Palestine/Israel. Now, the people marching there were, for the most part, much, much younger than the refugees that actually fled in 1948. Those are the descendants, possibly, of those people. And in fact, some of those people might have never lived in the current territory of Israel, because how do we know that all of the people that were marching were descendants of refugees? You didn't do an audit of the people. So, by the way, it's not as if all of the people who were fleeing to the Gaza Strip are the entire population of Gaza. There were people living in Gaza before 1948 that were Palestinian. So did they actually audit the population of people that went and marched towards the fence and prove that they were all refugees? No. Or that they were descendants of refugees? No. This is somebody who has the understanding of a 4-year-old.
Hold up. You asked me a question, I'm responding. And when these Jewish supremacist Israeli snipers were shooting pregnant Palestinian women in the womb while wearing shirts that say in Hebrew, 1 shot, 2 kills, with a picture of a pregnant Palestinian woman with the sniper's crosshairs over her womb. You're telling me that's not
these supposed Palestinians, all right, that you say that were marched this way, all right, where what were they doing? They just sitting around calmly,
to go home, man.
No, they were not trying to go home. All right, the reality is that idea of where their home is was gone the moment that they decided. All right,
Jesus Christ.
With that idea of their home.
You are a Jew.
Yeah, MC kind of flubs the whole response there. I don't know. Maybe he was like stunned by Patrick Little's his temper tantrum here. This is a full. I mean, look at his face. But we'll rewind 5 seconds and we'll show it in its entirety.
Jesus Christ.
With that idea of their home.
You are a Jew, are you not? This is a Jew I'm talking to. I fucking knew it. Bingo.
No, he's not.
I'm not a Jew. Okay?
Bullshit.
You cannot believe me all you want.
Oh, okay, actually,
but I'm not.
I would like to
Bullshit.
real
So
quick.
hold on. He's denying the point that I made. Before we go on with another counterpoint, he's denying that Israeli Jewish snipers are wearing shirts that say 1 shot, 2 kills, with the pictures of a sniper's crosshair over the womb of a pregnant Palestinian woman. Is he denying that these snipers are intentionally targeting children and pregnant women in the friggin' womb?
Yes, I am denying it.
Then I'm done. Goodbye.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. We'll
Wow.
we'll look at some of the response here.
That didn't. The thing is
Okay,
from the analysis,
because we couldn't even really talk.
yeah, from the analysis of what I'm hearing, this is a specific like something that he's very passionate about. I believe that he saw a video on this, and then it has emotionally moved him against this. I cannot confirm nor deny because I have not seen the evidence that he is asserting. Because of that, I can't neither confirm nor deny what is exactly happening. Also, this can also be a type of counter-propaganda type of movement, much in the same way that the 1930s had certain movements. The thing is I try and cover both sides of the spectrum.
So that's enough. I mean, I actually don't know who this guy is. But I did speak to him yesterday. MC, who is the person that Patrick Little called a Jew, I've talked to before, but he wasn't on yesterday on the Red Eye. And I want people to understand a couple points about this because, honestly, Patrick Little was somebody who was featured as like a huge threat by Cenk Uygur on the Young Turks. But if Patrick Little is such a threat, why is he calling in to the Maddodge stream? Which is, again, no offense, that Maddodge is a friend of mine. I like his stream. I like participating in his show. It's not really a venue where you can get a ton of exposure. And then this was his showing. He earned 1.4% in the California primary with 62,830 votes, running as a Republican. But this was like compared to here, Kevin De Leon earned 528,000 votes. And he's probably going to be, I think he's legitimately got a chance to win the race too, beating Dianne Feinstein. So California is fucking crazy leftist. Okay, and this guy thinks that he's going to win in California based on a platform of naming the Jew. You know what? Remember, 68,000 votes. There are probably more than 68,000 Jewish voters in California. He doesn't have enough votes to actually outpoll the Jewish vote in California. Let's look up the Jewish population of California. This is a fun stream. It is kind of stupid though, and I will probably get some heat from people later for it, but I don't care anymore. 1,232,690. Let's look for this is from the Daily Beast, the fucking idiots, but we'll use them this time. It says let me see here. Jeez, why can't they have just a fucking regular? They have to make a fucking slideshow out of everything. This is why media is failing. You want to click on something, you just boom. I want to know what your point is. Here, this is from J Weekly, probably a shitty newspaper. If you don't know by now, I'm Jewish and I hate the Jewish community has some of the worst media. It's basically the media of a suicidal person. It's these people who hate themselves so much, hate their own belief system, and they're basically catering to the type of people who want to be something else. Some people want to be somebody else, but this is like ridiculous. So 600,000 people in Los Angeles alone, and 227,000 in San Francisco, and that's it for the major cities there. So this is basically a fucking retard, Patrick Little, who goes on a show that has sometimes there's not that many people watching the Red Eye, and it's not the fact is it's a very long stream, and it's not somewhere where somebody who's like a serious candidate for anything is going to run. And yet Cenk Uygur was trying to make the point that Patrick Little could become senator of California. And he said, this is what he wrote too. The leading Republican in the California Senate race for a long time was a Nazi. His name is Patrick Little. And he he promised to drive the Jews out of the country and was leading among Republicans. Stop crying about bias and look inward to find the problem. This is your party. Hashtag GOP. No, that's not what happened. The leading Republican candidate was earned, let's see here, more than 6 times as many votes as Patrick Little. Okay, and the next person over from him was more than 4 times as many. And the next person was almost 4 times as many. And the next person over was 3 times as many. And the next person over was 2 times as many. And the next person over was 30,000 more. And then there was another. Patrick Little among Republican candidates finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th among Republicans. I think it was 13th among all candidates. This is how pathetic people are, that they focus on somebody like this. Somebody, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because it happened to be, you know, Maddodge contacted me the same night, and he's like, yeah, Patrick Little was on my stream. I was like, what do you mean he was on your stream? And he's like, and eventually he explained it to me. Patrick Little had contacted him and demanded that he be on the stream. I think he demanded like within the hour or something. I don't know what the hell was the story. This is a sign of a person who's really out of his fucking mind. You know, and then, you know, he would probably complain that he had no reception. Well, you chose to call in while you were on the road, you know, in spotty reception over in Montana. So that's about it. I don't know if there's going to be another video today. I just wanted to go over this because I know, you know, once in a while I do want to do something about crazy crap that happens on YouTube. So please enjoy. I see you guys, Ryu, Pinochet, and Sislowski, who I haven't seen for a while. But have a great evening, and we'll speak later.